Christy Turlington Burns is the epitome of an empowered woman. She's an entrepreneur, an author, a top fashion model, a student, and most importantly, a mom. But it's her activism on behalf of poor and oppressed women everywhere that makes Christy so remarkable. And now she's taken on the role of filmmaker to help shed light on the issue of maternal health around the world. Now, you've been an activist and involved in lots of causes over long periods of time, but you've turned your attention to maternal health. Why have you decided that that's an issue that you really want to devote your time to?
You know, I guess it's been sort of an evolution in just the way that I've been exposed to different things over the years. I started to become aware about the risk or the fact that women were more vulnerable. And then as I became a mom, it was a natural progression. And I had a complication with the birth of my first child that I learned shortly afterward was one of the main reasons that women die in the developing world. And it just really made an impact and made me feel like there was something that I could do to help raise awareness around the issues around maternal health.
So, raising awareness, you have spent the last couple of years working on a film, No Woman, No Cry. Why did you decide to do that film, and what did you learn from doing that?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's a sort of full circle for me. 2 years ago, I'd been on a trip with Care to Ayacucho in Peru. You know, I'd had my second child at this point without complications, and I'd learned a lot in that year about maternal mortality. And so going to that particular project in Peru, where it was really a success story and that the numbers of maternal deaths were reduced in half in 5 years, and I walked around seeing how much was possible. I sort of thought, you know, this is a tragedy, but look how much could be done and should be done. And my seeing it was what really inspired me to want to do something. If I could share some of the stories that I was able to see, people could perhaps be as inspired as I was to want to do something about it. I think once you know the information and the statistics that hundreds of thousands of women die needlessly and that so many of those deaths are preventable, it just feels like, well, why? So the filmmaking was really just pursuing that question. And 2 years later, we just launched it at Tribeca, and people have responded exactly in the way that I'd hoped they would, and it's just the beginning.
Tell me about some stories that really impacted you in a special, important way.
The focus of Tanzania is a woman called Janet. That most women live in the rural areas of this country, and that she was so far away from just even the clinic. We found her after she'd walked to the clinic 5 miles, and then she walked home at the end of that day, and then she came back that next night. So it was an interesting thing to learn that, you know, services are actually free in Tanzania, but the transport remains a huge, huge barrier. And I think her story perfectly illustrates just how much of a barrier that is.
What do you want to happen when somebody sees that film?
I keep hearing people can't believe that women are dying because of pregnancy. And what happens in Tanzania is as important as what happens in Central Florida. And to have women sort of, you know, have this collective experience, this sort of connection to women that they might never know, is a really important thing that could only really happen through the medium of film. I've been so inspired to take so much action, and I'm hoping to touch people and inspire people in that way as much as anything else.
I encourage you to see Christy's remarkable film, No Woman, No Cry. In some countries, 1 in 7 women die during pregnancy and childbirth, and millions more are left with life-altering disabilities. These tragedies are preventable. We just need to fight for global policies that ensure safe pregnancy and childbirth are a basic human right. Christy Turlington Burns is championing this cause, and you can too. Join the Care Action Network and learn how you can support the Global Moms Act, which aims to reduce mortality and improve maternal, newborn, and child health around the world.